man, let's move over to the next two title contenders. Battled it out yesterday at Anfield. What did you make of the game overall from a Chelsea's perspective?
We were brilliant. I think I can easily say that we were brilliant. First half, I think Liverpool had a couple of opportunities. Like you think of that Henderson over the top through ball.
That was. Anyways, continue, man.
Yeah. That he should have done so much better with that. Obviously, the goalmouth scramble corner at the end with all the big controversy, which we'll go on to in a minute. But I think Chelsea were good value for that lead and looked like they were going to score more than Liverpool. Like obviously, the Havertz header had a degree of fortune with it. Like that sort of contact looping over Alisson.
Yeah.
You can tell that was a tactic. Like Robertson there has some serious questions to be asked of him.
Yeah,
like, that is his area. And
it was poor overall, man.
Yeah, to not even like block him off, fair enough, you're gonna play zonal. But Havertz didn't even run into that area. He walked there. Like that is where you've got to look at your whoever's organizing set pieces at Liverpool and go, who the fuck decided that was going to be how we defend.
And you're not letting what's his name Havertz loop in the header like that.
Yeah,
Havertz, he's a good player. I've always liked it, but let it be Lukaku so that I can be like, okay, it's Lukaku. Let it be like, what's his name, Rudiger or someone.
Yeah,
but not Havertz, man. That's what made it even more frustrating, man, for me.
And then on the counter, like we had multiple 3-on-3s where we just played the wrong ball, or Mount absolutely destroyed Trent. He would have destroyed anyone. That isn't an anti-Trent thing, but he moved him away at that point and put it wide. Like we were looking really good. Then obviously the corner happens where the goalmouth scramble and Reece James handball it on the line. My view on that is that it was a fair decision. And my reason for that is that, and I've said this for years, and it's usually about fouls, but it obviously applies to handballs as well, is that if you give the ref a chance to send you off, you can't blame him.
Yeah, you gave the ref a decision to make.
Yeah. Like he obviously didn't mean to do it. Like it's a natural movement. He's not really in control of it. But you've given him the chance to send him off.
Jake, I've seen it so many times, right? Yeah. And even when it happened in a group chat, I was like defending myself, because even after the first couple of replays, you can see him actually, because look, it came off his thigh, but it was ricocheting into the goal. Yes or no?
Yeah, it was.
Exactly. So his hand, you can see that his hand, he's moving, he's putting his hand in a position to actually guide it away. It's not like it tapped his hand from his knee, because it was going in. But you can see that he's moving his hand, and that's what makes it a red card for me, because it's not like accidental. Do you get me?
I think for me, it's just where it happens. If it happens a lot of other places in the pitch, it's not a red. But because it's on the goal line, again, like I said,
but that's the rule. That's the rule, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the rule.
And that's why I'm not too angry with it, because even though it's inadvertent from his side, you've given the ref an opportunity to send you off. It's unfortunate, but you can't complain. My issue is Alonso heading it out of Mendy's hands. That pissed me off no end. Like he's obviously calling it. You can see Mendy calling it, and he still heads it out, and that's what causes all the issues. Now, Alonso, to his credit, second half was brilliant. Was one of our best players, if not our best player. But that's what causes the goal. And he has to be accountable for that. And he made up for the second half with the way him and the whole team defended, because as much as Chelsea were great, Liverpool attacking the Kop end with a man advantage, and they didn't create one clear-cut opportunity. I'm sorry, but that is horrible from Liverpool. And there needs to be an inquisition as to how the hell they didn't do anything, because they did not look good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. From my perspective, I think the first half, it was quite an even battle, especially after the 1-0. That's when Liverpool started playing, and the equalizer was in the air. I felt like it was gonna come. The way it happened, I was like, but I always felt confident. Yeah, we're gonna at least score the equalizer. That happened. Reece James got sent off just before the second half. So obviously, naturally, you're facing the Kop end. We're going all guns blazing. We did that, but Chelsea were very, very organized. Very, very organized at the back. Very, You're not letting us play through the middle. You're not letting our players go in behind. So we're actually resorting into doing the long ball shooting from distance. So obviously Fabinho did a couple of times. Robertson, the half volley. Who else?
Van Dijk.
Salah and Van Dijk as well.
And Henderson nearly curled it in top corner as well.
Yeah. So we had a couple of opportunities, like half opportunities from distance, but like you said, no clear cut chances where we carved you guys open or something.
Where you were expected to score. That's my thing.
That's what I'm saying. I thought we were good value to score the 2-1 as well, but that didn't happen. I thought Chelsea were, you were good, and you were good value for the draw in the end, and it was a good point from you guys.
This is the thing, and the second half we had the better opportunity. Like the best opportunity of the second half was the Kovacic 1-on-1. And that was a bad touch from him when he got into the box. But if he takes a better touch there, that's to be expected though. Like in terms of the context, yes, you can be suffocated in the other sense, but as well, you guys have a sprint team as well. So yeah,
if you get the ball, you just move it forward and then boom, it's long. It got long a few times.
Yeah, like I say, I think for me, Klopp needs to be asking serious questions of his players and himself as to how there wasn't, like, not the fact that you didn't score, like that can happen, you can miss chances, but just the fact that a complete lack of a clear opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, it was, for me, like Robertson, his first game back from injury.
He shouldn't have started. We should have started Tsimikas. Yeah.
And then I think you losing Firmino was quite big because he was looking really good, I thought. I thought he was linking and playing nicely. And Jota did nothing. Like, I think he won one header.
Yeah, that header was poor as well. I think Mane was absolutely. I think we need to start talking about Mane, man, and his world-class winger title maybe stripped off him because he was also a non-factor yesterday, and the weekend before. So I'm looking at him sideways, low key, man.
He deserves the questions to be asked because obviously it's like you can have a bad year, fair enough, and obviously COVID and everything around it. Like you can get those not excuses but reasons. But you have to have an eye at him now because everyone has an eye on Firmino. Everyone's had an eye on him because of his goal scoring record, even though despite what else he provokes their team.
And Mane's been receiving grace, yeah. So I'm gonna be looking at him now, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be looking at him. I'm stripping that world class style of him, man. If he continues,
there we go. I think because we did our combined 11 on Twitter. And we were discussing it beforehand, and like there was 4 Chelsea players in there, and I was sat there going through man for man because I know I can fit in one, but I can't fit in where, and I couldn't really get myself to put in one more over them. So 4 we had in were Thiago Silva, which now I'm looking at it, I think Rudiger probably deserves it a bit more, or Aspi, but that's either or. Jorginho, Kante, and Lukaku. I was looking at Mane and going, I don't know anymore. So we'll have to see how he does because he could come back and have an absolute stormer. Like that's the type of player Mane is. Yeah. But he definitely has more scrutiny coming his way.
Yep, for sure, man. So from your perspective, then Liverpool obviously we have like our strongest 11. It's probably one of the strongest 11s in the world. 100%. But do you think, like, just looking at yesterday's game, of course, it's against Chelsea, good team, but do you think a bit more depth is required for us to go all the way? Or do you expect us to give it a proper go, providing everyone stays fit?
Yeah, see, that's the question, isn't it? It's like, if you stay fit, you're going to be fine. You're going to have a really good challenge, but you can't hold that in football, especially at the level that Liverpool and Chelsea play at, and City and United, etc., where you're playing games every 3 days. You need that depth. And up front, you've got 4. Then you, like, after Jota, Mane, Firmino, and Salah, you are looking bare bones, like playing Divock.
Then it's Minamino and Divock Origi. The quality is so... Yeah. It's too much, man. The drop
like you can promote Harvey Elliott forward, and he looked really good. Sorry, I'll take that back. I don't think he looked really good, but he looked at home. Yeah. That was the important thing. For a man of his age, he did look really good. He looked at home. He will continue to improve and get better and put more of an impact on it. But he
just needs to get a bit more decisive, man. That's all.
And he's playing an unfamiliar role, like playing right centre mid. Like that's not something he's played before, so he's got to adapt to that as well. But he looked good. Centre mids, obviously, you have a lot of depth, but I mean, there has to be questions asked why Thiago isn't starting these games. Like, I get the whole he's coming back from injury, but you've rushed Robertson back, but you're not rushing Thiago back. And Thiago would have been perfect for that game. That's the game where breaking down a defense with those passes through the middle.
I mean, he came in and was also
nothing.
doing his sideway passes, did nothing as well. But I don't know if that was because he was on the bench, but I don't know.
So, but yeah, like centre mid, I think you do have decent depth, but then like, let's be fair. Centre back, you have great depth. Left back, you now have really good depth because Tsimikas has proved himself. But right back, if Trent gets injured, I'm worried.
I think Gomez goes there. It's not going to be Nico Williams, man.
The problem there, then, for me, is that like your game changes with Trent.
Yeah, it changes. It changes immediately because Gomez is not as good as going forward. But that's not his game, which is fine. But Trent, I love Trent. I really love Trent. I think he's one of the world's best footballers. Like, he proved it again. Like, I know defensively everyone says it's a bit suspect, and we've seen the stats that maybe that's very much overblown. But there was, again, a couple of times in that Chelsea game where, because of the way Liverpool play, he obviously plays quite narrow and upfield. Like, it's not his fault he's caught out of position, but even when he recovers, he's a bit on the back foot. Yeah.
Like, I think against like decent players, he's very good. But against very good players,
he can be suspect defensively. Yeah. That's facts, man. That's facts.
That's not the worst.
But at the same time, to be completely fair to him, he has had good days against very good wingers as well. Which people don't want to, recognize. But he has had those as well. So
I mean, that's a very harsh nitpick, isn't it? Like, against really good players, he's not that great. Like, I think that's a pretty.
Okay. But that's most backs.
Exactly. So he's going to improve. He's going to look better. But yeah, for me, as a whole, I thought Chelsea were brilliant. They proved they're going to be title contenders. Like the last time we had a red card, we conceded 5 against West Brom. This time, we conceded 1 against Liverpool at Anfield. That is an improvement. It just speaks to how well Tuchel's made with this squad, especially as we lost Kante at halftime as well. So you lose the world's best defensive midfielder. Like, it's going to be harder, but we look good. We look really good.
You guys look good, man. Champions. Like I said, man, it's going to be either Liverpool or Chelsea. Like I said, start of the season.